going to snooze. He's never going to slack. And remember, I was just telling you about self-love. I know sometimes it might get really tough, but don't snooze on yourself. Don't slack. And sometimes you need to cut yourself some slack because you've really achieved something really great for yourself, and you don't just need to be hard on yourself. And I'm talking about not being hard on yourself. I was talking about the fact that we are going to be talking with an expert right here on the workstation just to talk about what goes on in the workplace. And I was just hinting about the fact that human resource seems to be one of the very contentious issues when it comes to the workplace. And today right here, we are going to be having this conversation on the workstation. So it doesn't just happen. It takes intentional effort, understanding, and a whole lot of heart. So today we shall be looking into the role of human resources or human resource in creating a positive work experience, or what other people would say HR. You know, the common one is HR and all of that. And to do justice to this, I have here with me, this woman has so much of stuff going on in her portfolio. And at some point I was like, if you tell us everything you are doing, we are obviously not going to finish this show today. So, and then she was trying to be modest at the same time. But I just want to give an idea about who we are going to be talking to, or who you're going to be listening to this afternoon. Talking about Mrs. Eniola Peters. She is a human resource executive and consultant. She's also a part of the set up human resources. She sets up human resources for companies, and she's been doing that for at least 12 years. And then she also has her private company, talking about Meg Consult. So she's not just an alien to this industry. She's someone that knows it true when it has to do with career advancement, when it has to do with human resources in the workforce or workspace. You have to be thinking Mrs. Eniola Peters. Good afternoon, madam, and thank you so much for coming.
Good afternoon, Cassandra. Thank you for having me.
I see you already. There is something about the studio. The moment someone gets into the studio, there is this feeling that you always have. I hope I got that correctly.
I agree. Yes. I agree.
All right, thank you. You look really nice.
Thank you.
Okay, and we really cannot wait to tap into your word of experience this afternoon on the workstation conversation. Let's first of all start with, what actually is that work experience? What is a positive work experience?
Okay, so a positive work experience varies based on individual and their personalities, all right? And which means every organization has their work culture, which gives their work experience. So I'll give an example of Google, for instance. Their work experience at Google says motivation. They just want you to be motivated in every area of your life, right? And there's another organization that their work experience would be resilient, just to make sure, bringing different things. They just dump work on you, and your work experience there has to be resilient. You have to be ready to take on.
Can you work under pressure?
Everything, exactly. And there's some organizations that their work culture and their work experience is what's it called? Should I say money, finances, like how much we make makes us happy. So different organizations have different experiences based on their culture or based on the CEO's belief. Yeah.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that work experience differs from company to company or workplace to workplace.
Yes.
It can never be the same experience.
No, it can't.
But we are all looking for a positive work experience, because it seems like the toxic one seems to be on the rise, and some people are saying I'll jump and pass. Anyway, and this is the part where we get to look at our human resources. You have been a HR expert for at least 12 years in that regard. If you could just tell us, from your experience as a HR expert, what are some of the key responsibilities you play in fostering a positive work culture?
Okay, so naturally or originally, HR was created to bridge the gap between employees and management, all right? So the management felt, I can't liaise directly with my employees, and the employees feel, oh, we need like a third party that can help us tell management what we need. Now, so every employee wants to be happy in the organization, and every management wants their staff to be happy at the same time, wants the organization to progress. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So to have a positive work work experience, it means inclusion. It means including your staff in every decision you make. It means thinking of them, and that is what the HR does. The HR stands in gap for everything. Like, our staff needs to be trained, our staff needs to be fed. Like when I was working in an organization, I was the one that introduced free lunch for the organization and for the staff. And the management were like, oh, no, we can't pay for free food. And then we came to a conclusion that, okay, take part of their salaries, give them free lunch. They wouldn't mind. And it came out well. Now both parties are happy. The staff are working very well because they know there's free lunch. So that is part of creating a positive work experience. And like I said, some staff, they'll say, no, don't give us food, give us the money. All right? Now, what do you want in an organization? Then the HR would be the one to pass it on to the management and say, this is how we want to make our employees experience better. So one of the major ways is to have a very good employee experience for the employees.
A good employee experience for the employees. But now some people would say that as much as that gap of let's have a third party in the mix is needed, some HR professionals in the workspace are not really helping matters. I know you've heard incidents or seen situations where the ones that are supposed to be like the middlemen for the employees or between the employees and the employers do not actually play their roles well, or sometimes it gets so much immersed in some of the little conflicts or controversies that surround the office, and they don't get to handle conflicts well. What do you think are some of the factors that are responsible for this?
Number one, I would say the HR doesn't know their job. Okay. So it's an individual person problem, not on the profession. Yes, it is an individual problem. A lot of people jump into HR without even understanding. If you permit me, I would say HR is a calling. It's not everybody. It's not everybody that can be an HR. You know, when I interview people and they say they want to be in HR, first question I ask is why, and they're like, oh, they're a people person. I'm like, no, an HR person is not a people person, because if you're a people person, you won't do your HR job well, because there are days you have to stand on your ground. There are days you have to say no. In fact, and when you think, oh, the HR is actually not doing what they are meant to be doing, then you're wrong. Because if you are in a place and you're actually enjoying something, that means somebody is doing something. They might not do what you want, or you might not see the result you think you want. Or so, for instance, you're asking the HR to speak to your boss to increase your salary. The HR is doing that, but the boss is telling the HR, we don't have money. So, and HR is not at liberty to come tell you that we don't have money. You would think the HR is not working, but the HR is working. But it's just not, you're not just seeing the result you want. Because so sometimes, so sometimes the employees are so entitled, and that causes this problem you just mentioned. You think, oh, the HR is not working. They are working. And sometimes the bosses are not willing. So it looks like, sir, please, we need this increment, and the boss is saying, no. The HR cannot go to tell the employees by saying, oh, the boss said no. It's going to put the boss in a bad light. Do you understand?
Yes.
So the HR is like a pastor. Like you have to manage the information you get and know how you're going to pass it on to the people you're responsible for. Because you're responsible for both parties. You're responsible for the management. You're responsible for the employees. So anybody that thinks HR is not working, I would like to say, please correct that notion. The HR is actually working. You might not see the result you want, because it has to come out for the management.
Okay, you said something that I really picked up, that if you are a people person, if you are, I remember a former president of this country said, I am not for anyone, I'm for everyone. That is the concept of HR.
That is HR.
You want to make everyone happy, but at the same time, you're not for anyone in particular.
Exactly.
Because when you want to please everyone, at the end of the day, everything is going to get spoiled.
Exactly. You got it. Exactly.
But now, let's look at other issues, right? Talking about the fact that there are other roles. Should I say, if you could be more particular about the roles that HR experts, or should I say HR professionals, play in the management. I know you've already said that they stand as that intermediary But away from just standing in between, are there other things that they do in the organization that you might want to enlighten our listener about, so that they will have an idea, so that in case, even if someone is wanting to take up a HR job, at least what we are going to say here at this moment would be like a guide for them.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. So HR has a lot of arms. So HR is a name that is very broad. All right. So under human resources, we have training and development. We have recruitment and talent management. I mean, we run away from talent management a lot in Nigeria, but talent management is something that I picked up when I was very much younger, because I knew that managing a talent was better than recruitment. So managing a talent is, I know you, I see what you have, I see your skills. I'll rather put you as an individual where you function better, not what you're applying for.
Okay.
Do you understand? So that's talent management. Then we have the onboarding. Then we also have employee management. Do you understand?
Yes.
Like we're the ones that handle from recruitment to firing or resignation. We're the ones that manage the in-between. We want to know how your experience is working in this organization and what you would advise us and how do you think we can do better. At the same time, when you're coming in on board, we're the ones that see the value you're bringing on board. So as much as these are different areas, you can decide to pick each area individually, or you can be an HR generalist where you handle everything. So as a consultant, right, you are more like everything. There's also the compensation and benefit part that I forgot to mention. I run away from compensation. That's why I forgot it.
Okay.
Because it's mathematics. Like you have to calculate tax and that.
You're allergic to maths, like myself.
I am very allergic to mathematics, but that is also a part of it. So some people pick, I just want to be a recruiter. And that is how I stumbled on HR. If you don't mind, I can share how I stumbled on HR.
Go ahead.
Okay, so when I finished school, when I got out of school, I knew I loved helping people get jobs. How did I know? Okay, so I got an offer to work in a bank, because I always wanted to work in a bank. And then I got an offer, and when the job came to work in a bank, I sat down, I'm like, do I really want to work in a bank? I love my time too much to work in a bank. So I called a friend and said, babe, do you want this job? And she said, are you okay? Like, you're giving me your job. I said, all you need to do is just go there and mention my name. Because the guy that gave me the job said, just go there. She said, okay, she went, she got the job. And it made me feel a type of way. I was very happy.
That you're able to help someone, lead them onto a job.
This makes sense. And then I Googled it, and then I saw it was called recruitment. So I started saying, okay, this is what I want to do. I love to help people get jobs. And then in helping people get jobs, I package you. So I write your CV, do your LinkedIn, those, just to make you look good, to get the job. And it gives me so much joy. And that was when I knew, okay, this was HR. And then when I interned in an organization, I found out what they call talent management. Then I said, I'm not doing recruitment again. I want talent management. But then I saw, both of them are together. Do you understand? And that's how I stumbled on it, because I realized it was something I was passionate about. And that's what would help a lot of other people as well. So it's not about being a people person. There are so many times you say no. There are so many times, you're seeing a CV, you're like, no, what's this now? Do you understand? You shouldn't be sending this kind of thing. So yes, so there are different arms of HR. You just need to know what exactly you want. There's a training aspect. I mean, for people like us that love talking, I'm sure training is part of what we can do, because we can talk. So yes, once we have a manual, we just train you, no problem. And that's another arm, that people run away from. But then HR, like I said earlier, is a calling, and it takes a lot of passion. You have to be passionate about it. Like, people come for interviews. When you see the CV, you're like, I'll probably not employ this person. But an HR will meet with the person and see what you are not seeing, what an ordinary eye cannot see, maybe based on one response or based on or something. You can avert a lot of problems by employing wrong people, just by employing an HR to do the job for you. There are so many companies now that say, I can do my recruitment myself, go on LinkedIn and all that, and they fall for scam. You still need that HR touch.
Still need that HR touch. Well, in case you just tuned in, you're listening to the Workstation on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. And so far, we have been discussing HR's role in creating a positive work experience. And I have here with me a woman who has so many feathers on her heart, talking about Mrs. Eniola Peters. She is a HR executive and consultant with at least 12 years experience, and so far she's been doing justice to the conversation. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation by calling 09073530044 or sending a message to the WhatsApp number 09097054450. But that will be after we go for a breather, and when we come back, we'll do this more right here on the workstation. Please stay tuned and keep listening.
Has anyone told you you can talk about your business on radio for just
20,000 naira?
Get a chance to talk your business for 25 minutes on The Entrepreneur. Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM, Abuja. For more inquiries, call 090-9984-4433. 090-9984-4433. Hurry now.
He's been lying and pretending that he's faithful and he loves you.
Hanging out with friends is such a hobby, but chilling with your girlfriend? Such a bolster. We talk about love, family, relationship, the shady, hilarious, fun, juicy, messy gossip in town. And the gentlemen on that table. Girlfriends, Mondays and Fridays at 1 p.m. Exclusive to Eagles 102.3 FM, Abuja.
Out with the tweets, in with the X's. This is X Trends, where we go with the trends on X and dive in. It is fun, intense, and very interactive. Join us on X Trends on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, your radio experience you can count on.
Do you want to know about cars? Everything about cars, from purchase to maintenance and even road use. Don't go too far. Listen to Top Gear on Eagles 102.3 FM every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Top Gear, let's give you a spin.
wọlé pẹ̀lú ṣéǹjì ọmọ ẹ̀ ní ṣéǹjì o mo ní ìdájú jẹ́ sàràwà kó tó gba wákà o máa gba wákà fún mi wọlé pẹ̀lú ṣéǹjì ẹ̀mí tí sọ́ọ́ tèmi wọlé pẹ̀lú ṣéǹjì ẹ̀ o. Oga driver, make we dey go now. You just dey waste person time.
Oga, you dey hurry o. Abi Opeke dey wait for you for house. Kai walai.
If I hear Opeke, abeg, me I wan lis ten to Gidigba assembly. If I miss 1 second checking like this, e dey pain me well well.
Yes, so my people, make una take care, join Honorable Ambassador Apedi Great every weekday 7 p.m. on Top Gidigba Assembly for Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja, for where you go take play, take get the latest story for the country and beyond. Make una no miss am o.
From Milky Way to Earth, everywhere there's internet, you can connect with Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Log on to our website www.eaglesfm.com. Follow and engage with us now on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok at Eagles FM Abuja, Instagram at Eagles FM 1023. Download our apps on your Android and iOS stores. Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, your radio experience you can count on.
Alrighty, you stay tuned and listening to Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, and we are still on the sunny side of life. Talking about, we've been having a conversation about creating a positive work experience and the intermediary role that HR experts or professionals usually play. And to do justice to this, I have Mrs. Eniola Peters. She is a HR executive and consultant with at least 12 years experience. Thank you once again for coming, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now before that break, you were talking about talent management, and it really struck me. I see this whole quotes on LinkedIn, people saying I hire people even when they don't have experience. They have potential. How do you know that this person has potential that can be nurtured?
Okay, so thank you for that question. And I'm an advocate for experiencing people before they get an experience, because we all start from
somewhere. So
somewhere.
don't judge a book by its cover.
Yes, I am.
Okay,
I am. I don't
course.
judge. I don't judge. I listen. I don't judge.
She listens. She doesn't judge.
Okay, so for your question, what is talent actually? All right, and I mentioned talent management, and I just wanted to say that talent is what you have as an individual, what you have, your natural patterns, your thoughts, your behaviors that when positively applied can lead to extraordinary results.
Wow.
So everybody has a talent. All right, you have something you're so good at that if applied in an organization you can do well.
Wow.
So I'll give an example for my intern. I'm sure she will permit me to share this information. When she came, I was looking for an HR intern. She applied for the role, and covered, she was a social media, she had interest in social media. She loved writing, she loved anything graphics, drawing and all. Even though she wasn't good at it, she preferred that to HR. So I said, you don't even know anything about HR, why did you apply for it? She said she was just looking for a job, which is what everybody does. I'm just looking for a job. I'm just looking for a job. So I said, I'll give you an opportunity to get better at this. I'll give you an opportunity to learn social media under me. I'll teach you a few things and then you will self-develop. Now she's an expert.
Wow.
3 years later.
Wow, just 3 years.
Now she's working in the capacity of someone that's experience of 10 years. Exactly.
Because you give her that chance.
So that's why I said I'm an advocate of giving people chances, all right? And how do you identify this? By having conversations with people. Now, there are different roles. So if I'm looking for an experienced role where I need 10 years experience, and if a no experience individual comes for an interview, I'm definitely not going to look at you twice because I have what I am looking for, all right? But if I'm looking for an experience where, okay, I'm willing to teach, I just need a good person. Now I'm looking for a soft skill, someone that has time management skills, someone that is very resilient, proactive and all that. I wouldn't look at your technical skills. I wouldn't look at your experience. You know, I would rather look at, okay, you can do this. I think if I teach you this, you're a fast learner. You can do this in 1 or 2 days or something. Do you understand? So that is how I always advise HR people. But like I said, if you're looking for experience, then don't have experience.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Mr. The lines are already buzzing. Seems the people have so much to ask you this afternoon.
Wow, okay.
Let's pick this one. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, Cassie. My Cassie, good afternoon.
Yes, Coco. How are you doing today?
Fine.
It's been a while, yeah. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
All right. I'm calling from Lope. Good afternoon to the guest in the studio.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you, dear. You have made me to understand the meaning of the word HR. You know, sometimes my wife do say my HR, so I wouldn't know the real meaning. But as you're talking, and you have made me to understand the meaning of it. So thank you for that.
Welcome.
And I want to also say there's something you said which is true. There was a place that happens to work. When they call us for interview, we were like 5 of us. So, you know, the pressure of interview, you might definitely make some mistake because of the pressure, but that will not make you inferior. But thank God for the man that called us for interview, the owner of the establishment. He was like telling his people, can we give these people a chance, maybe 1 month? Because sometimes someone may make mistake because of the pressure. That does not mean that person is inferior.
Exactly.
And you have made mention of that kind of thing here. There are some people, if they call you for interview, they will just look your appearance and the inwards of you. They won't give you that chance for you to carry out the assignment. By asking this question, you couldn't answer, that means it's not fit for the job. But for your own, the way you explain, you are kind of person who can adapt to people's weakness and give them time to see if they will properly function.
Okay.
So I pray God will give you more grace now.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Koko, for calling, and also commending Mrs. Eniola. Thank you so much. It's actually setting the pace for so many people. I know some people, when you call HR, they're already having shivers. And it's not supposed to be so, because that person is supposed to be like a mediator between the employee and the employer. We have a couple of messages here. I'm going to take this one. The first one we had was, "Hi, Cassie. Good afternoon. Please kindly connect me to this woman. I want a job desperately."
Okay, so if I'm supposed to ask, what type of job are you looking for? What can you do? What can you do? What capacity do you have? What have you done? And what kind of job are you looking for? So I get a lot of calls. "Ma, I'm looking for a job. Ma, I'm looking for a job." Like, okay, can you be specific?
Yes.
Yes.
So Tina, please be specific to us. Just drop a message and we'll definitely get back to you. Thank you so much for reaching out. She's listening to you and she will definitely do something about it. Just be very specific with your request, because even Oliver Twist will always ask for more. So all right, now we have another one. This one is, "Hi, I'm Melody and I have a question for Mrs. Eniola. What are her biggest challenges?"
Biggest challenges in life, or biggest challenges?
Yeah,
I think still the biggest challenges are people.
The same people you're trying to manage.
Deal with people,
of course, it's never easy.
So they just don't understand. And like I mentioned earlier, there's some that are just so entitled. They just feel it's my right. I need to get this job. I need to do this. You need me. As much as I need you, you need me as well. Do you understand? So people are still the biggest challenges. If only we get qualified people, and that is why I train, or should I say empower youths.
Okay.
So that when they are going for interviews, they don't misbehave.
They don't misbehave. Okay. All right, we have another message. This one says, "A very good morning to you and your guest, Mrs. Eniola. Talking about HR, human resource, what is the difference between HR and PR, public relations within working class?" From Samino Dauda Lifecamp.
They're like east to west. HR is human relations. PR is public relations. So public relations has to deal with communications, communicating, media, and all whatnot. HR has to do with administration and people management. So they are totally different departments. They are totally different things.
All right, I hope you got that right, Samino. She has just said that HR is about what goes on within the company, meanwhile PR is about the image of the company outside. Okay, now moving on, let's talk about this issue that I would say maybe some people would say it's quite popular among the Gen Zs. They would say, "Out, you're overworking me and everything. My mental health is at stake." Let's discuss mental health in the workplace and the role that HR play in mental health and emotional well-being in the workplace. What? It's like you have that experience, you know. Okay. Everyone seems to. I'm not trying to talk down on the impact. I mean, the role or the importance of our mental health, but it seems like a card everyone seems to bring to the table, and you really can get. You understand because of so much is happening.
So much is happening right now. Well, let me answer from the angle of an HR. So if a staff walks up to me to say, "Oh, my mental health is being affected," maybe because I asked them to come Mondays to Fridays or something, then I'm going to have to take the person into counseling. What exactly is the problem? Why is your mental health being affected by the job you're meant to do? And it still comes to the organizational culture. Now, in our organization, for instance, we work three days in a week. Yes, 3 days in a week, hybrid. Do you understand? So you can work from home, you can work from the office. And so working with me, and then I ask you, come on Friday, we have a project. I say, "Oh, I can't come because my mental health I need to rest or something." I'm like, "Are you even serious at all?" Because there's something called the resilience skill. There's something called the proactive skill. There's something called the ability to do things out of your schedule. So if you're telling me your mental health is being affected, then there's a problem. Maybe you're not interested. As a millennial, I don't even know if I'm a millennial or what. I'm sure I'm not a Gen Z. But then I've realized that Gen Zs are the one that have Gen Z issues. Because
you're dragging them,
they were not brought up to be resilient. And that is why a resilient skill is one important skill skill everyone needs to have, and the adaptability skill. You need to be able to adapt to any situation. So as it is changing, you pick up and run with it. If your mental health is being disturbed every time, then why just sit at home? That's why I laughed, because I know my response is not going to be the popular.
It's not going to be the
no. There's no need to pet you. That means you're not ready to work. So I had an example of someone I was mentoring that called me and said she had already sent it out, so everybody had seen the mistake, and the HR called her to say, sis, you made this mistake. You really shouldn't have. This is what you should have done. And then she called me and said, my mental health is being disturbed. I'm like, for the mistake you made, you're not even happy you were not served a memo, or you were not queried or sent home. You made a mistake and they found it. Do you understand? So a lot of young people don't even understand the meaning of this mental health issue. So as an HR, I'll tell you, go into counseling, go into therapy. Let's find out what exactly the problem is that your mental health is always being disturbed.
All right. I think that counseling or therapy is actually a step, because not many organizations have going to heed to what you're saying. They're just going to ignore you. That is even if you have the courage to even open up and talk about mental health in the first place. But now let's talk about people leaving their jobs. Sometimes people leave their jobs by not resigning properly. They just wake up and leave. They've not filed any formal complaint, nothing. They just wake up one day and they leave. And sometimes they don't stay at their jobs. Some people, the longest they will stay at their jobs, let's say 5 months, 6 months max, and then they're out.
And the person leaves. I can't control that. All right. So the best I can do is have an exit interview. Okay, in my organization. So next time when I'm recruiting, I look at your CV and see the years you've stayed in an organization to see if you're actually stable. Because some people's CV, you see 2 months, 3 months.
So is that a red flag? It's still Melody. She says, one more question. What advice can she give to an entrepreneur who wants to start a business and really?
Because I mean, if it's something you're passionate about, even when challenges come and all, you know why you're doing it. You know you're not doing it because of the money, in quotes. Because starting a business, you're not